Imagine coming home after a brutal divorce, feeling like your life is short-circuited, only to plug into an old guitar and spark something electric again. That's exactly what happened to Mike Harlan, a 45-year-old electrician who'd spent years wiring homes for other people while his own marriage slowly burned out. One rainy afternoon, clearing out the garage, he dusted off his high school Fender, cranked the amp, and let loose on some classic rock riffs he hadn't played in decades. The sound hit him like a surge of power. He felt alive for the first time in years. Word spread fast in the quiet suburban neighborhood of Oak Ridge Estates. A couple of buddies from his trade, Tom the plumber, Dave the carpenter, and even his old high school pal Rick, now a mechanic, showed up with their own instruments. Before long, they had a full garage band going, circuit breakers. Nothing fancy, just four middle-aged guys jamming out covers of Zeppelin, AC/DC, and the Stones. They kept it reasonable, practices on weekends, volume low enough not to rattle windows too far. Better yet, they started playing free gigs at local charity events. Barbecues for the veterans' home, fundraisers for the animal shelter. The community loved it. Kids danced, old folks sang along, and Mike finally had a purpose beyond fixing outlets. But not everyone was thrilled. Enter Evelyn Whitaker, the self-appointed queen of the Oak Ridge HOA. Evelyn was in her late 50s, sharp-featured, always dressed like she was heading to a board meeting even on trash day. As HOA president, she ruled with an iron clipboard, issuing fines for everything from slightly overgrown lawns to holiday lights left up a day too long. Rumor had it she moonlighted as a real estate agent, and some whispered she padded her commissions by steering buyers away from problem properties. Properties she'd conveniently flagged with violations first. Started small. Evelyn marched over one Saturday during practice, banging on the garage door mid-song. "This is unacceptable," she shrieked when Mike paused the music. "Garages are for vehicles and storage, not rock concerts. This is a residential zone. No commercial activities allowed." Mike politely explained it was just a hobby, no tickets sold, all for charity. She wasn't having it. That night, a citation arrived in his mailbox. $100 fine for unauthorized noise disturbance and improper use of residential structure. Mike ignored the first one, figuring it'd blow over. But Evelyn escalated. More fines piled up for excessive vehicle parking when bandmates visited, for visual clutter from amps visible through the open door. She even called the city code enforcement, claiming the garage band was running an illegal business. The inspector came out, scratched his head, and told Mike his setup qualified under an old grandfather clause for home workshops. Common in neighborhoods built decades ago. Cleared, no violation. That's when Mike, ever the methodical electrician who triple-checked every wire, decided to flip the switch. He started paying closer attention to Evelyn's perfect corner lot McMansion. A few discreet measurements with his laser tool revealed her driveway extended several feet onto public easement land, illegal encroachment that had been there for years. Photos of unpermitted additions. A fancy patio cover without permits. Exterior paint not matching the approved palette. He documented it all neatly, timestamps, angles, the works. He filed complaints politely through official channels with the city and the HOA board. First, nothing. Evelyn laughed it off, posting snide comments on the neighborhood Facebook group about certain residents wasting everyone's time with petty grievances. She ramped up her campaign against Mike. Anonymous reports of suspicious activity at his house. More fines, even trying to rally other neighbors against the noise polluters. But the tide turned. Neighbors who'd suffered under Evelyn's reign started speaking up online and at meetings. The widow next door shared how Evelyn fined her for a memorial bench in her yard. The young family across the street recounted threats over kids' chalk drawings on the sidewalk. Support poured in for Mike and the band. Invites to play more events. Homemade cookies dropped off after practice. Digging deeper, Mike uncovered something bigger. During a home renovation a couple years back, Evelyn had filed an insurance claim for extensive water damage, pocketing a hefty payout. But photos from neighbors and old listings showed no such damage, just cosmetic upgrades. Potential fraud. Evelyn panicked. She tried for a restraining order, claiming Mike was harassing her by driving past her house, on the only road out of the neighborhood. The judge saw through it quickly. Her own filings admitted to frequent drive-bys checking on his garage. Her lowest moment came during a big neighborhood safety fair, hosted in the community park with booths from fire, police, and city officials. The band was scheduled to play a short set, crowd favorite. Evelyn, desperate, staged a dramatic fall in her yard that morning, calling 911 and blaming the thunderous vibrations from a practice session the night before. She claimed it caused her to trip and injure her back, demanding the event shut down the band. Paramedics arrived, but so did half the off-duty cops from the local precinct. Why? Because Mike's drummer, Tom, was married to a sergeant, and several band supporters were officers themselves. They'd all come early to help set up the police booth and enjoy the music. When the call came in, a detective friend of the family swung by Evelyn's house en route. He found her pacing normally, phone in hand, only to watch her suddenly crumple when the ambulance pulled up. At the fair, with city council members, code enforcers, and the police chief milling around, Mike calmly presented his folder of evidence. Photos, timestamps, public records. He didn't yell, just laid it out. The encroachments, unpermitted work, suspicious insurance claim, pattern of abusive fines. Neighbors chimed in with their stories. Evelyn tried to interrupt, red-faced, but the officials listened. By the end of the day, investigations were launched. Fines reversed for the whole neighborhood. Evelyn removed as president pending review. Word spread that she faced hefty penalties, possible charges, and the end of her real estate side hustle. Buyers don't trust agents with fraud allegations. Mike and circuit breakers closed the fair with an extended set. The crowd, bigger than ever, cheered louder than any amp could blast. As the last chord faded, Mike looked out at smiling faces, including a few uniformed officers rocking along off-duty. Life after the divorce? It wasn't just rewired. It was fully charged. And that's the thing about power-hungry types like Evelyn. They forget that when you push too hard on the wrong circuit, you risk getting shocked yourself. Mike didn't set out for revenge. He just wanted to play music and live peacefully. But when backed into a corner, he grounded the threat properly. The neighborhood breathed easier, the band played on, and Oak Ridge Estates finally felt like home again. Not a prison run by one woman's clipboard. Years later, folks still talk about that safety fair. The day the HOA tyrant called the authorities on a dangerous garage party, only to face a park full of the very people she thought would back her up. Turns out, the real disturbance was her, and the community finally pulled the plug.